we didn't suffer. I know how them kids suffer. You know, and people don't understand that I was on death row, finna get a needle in my arm because of rat, bro.
Boosie has been through a lot with the system, and it seems like it's far from over. The rapper is back in prison, and new footage of him in jail just dropped, and he does not look good. According to fans, the system is really out to get him, and the details prove it. Let me break it down. From the block to federal court. Real recognized real, and when word hit the streets that Boosie Badass, one of the realest to ever spit bars about that struggle life, had copped a federal plea that might send him upstate for 2 years, the whole hood felt that pain. Y'all gotta understand, this whole situation started off as just another day in the life for the Baton Rouge legend. May 6th, 2023, Boosie was out in San Diego handling his business, shooting a music video and getting ready to perform at the Phantom Lounge in the Gaslamp Quarter. Just a regular money move, the type of hustle that keep the lights on and food on the table for his 9 kids. But the streets is always watching, and apparently so is the law. What happened next is some straight Big Brother type surveillance that should have every street dude shook. San Diego police was monitoring the Instagram live of some known neighborhood Crip gang member when they peeped Boosie with a black piece tucked in his waistband during the video shoot. Think about that for a second. The police literally stalking social media like some creepy ex, waiting for somebody to slip up on live.
I guess, look, all the years, I've known you for like 20 years now, right? And I've never seen a gun around you.
Right.
I'm being honest.
Right.
This is not me in front of the camera. I've never seen a gun on the coffee table. I've never seen it tucked in, nothing.
Right.
The response was some movie-type drama that shows how deep the system willing to go when they want you. They called in a whole helicopter, an airborne law enforcement unit, to track the black Mercedes SUV Boosie was riding in, then pulled them over claiming they ran a red light. When they ran down on the whip, they found 2 loaded pieces, a Glock and a Hellcat. Boosie tried to keep it solid for his security, saying one of the straps belonged to his mans, but the prosecutors wasn't hearing none of that. Here's where it gets even more federal. Prosecutors later revealed that Boosie had copped both burners in Georgia and flew with them to San Diego on a Delta flight that same day, which gave them that interstate commerce angle they needed to make it a federal case. At first, this looked like it was going to stay local. Boosie caught some state charges from the San Diego County District Attorney, possession of a piece by a prohibited person, carrying concealed in a vehicle, possession of ammunition by a prohibited person, and having an unregistered joint. His legal team was confident they could work out some probation deal, keep their client out the pen. But June 14th, 2023 was when the feds showed they play chess while everybody else playing checkers. The state charges got dismissed in San Diego County Superior Court, and Boosie probably thought he was walking out a free man. Instead, soon as he stepped foot outside that courtroom, federal agents was waiting to snatch him up on that felon in possession charge.
The state case was dropped, and out of nowhere, the feds picked it up.
Now, it was a state case. The feds came, picked it up.
This federal pickup had Boosie's legal team heated from the jump. His attorney, Megan Blanco, came out swinging, saying the feds violated their own petite policy about not prosecuting the same offense twice. Attorney Damon Alamori kept it 100, suggesting that Boosie's habit of speaking real on social media about the criminal justice system might have painted a target on his back. The whole federal case was built on some cold reality. Boosie's 2011 marijuana possession conviction made him a prohibited person under federal law, meaning he couldn't legally touch a burner. Now think about how wild that is. A man catching a nonviolent weed case over a decade ago, now facing 15 years in the federal pen for exercising what most folks consider a constitutional right to bear arms. The judge hit Boosie with a $100,000 bond, but now he was playing in federal court where the rules different and the stakes much higher. This wasn't some county jail overnight stay. This was about potentially losing the next decade and a half of his life. But sometimes the universe throw you a bone when you least expect it. July 2024 brought some unexpected hope when U.S. District Judge Kathy Ann Bencivengo dismissed the federal gun charge, citing a 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruling in the case of Stephen Shorty Duarte that said banning nonviolent felons from having guns was unconstitutional under the Second Amendment.
They had a ruling in the Supreme Court that went in my favor, and the case got dropped by the judge. The case got dropped.
The celebration was real and raw. Boosie got emotional outside the courthouse, telling reporters, 90% of people thought I was going to prison, but God had a different plan. He celebrated by cutting off his ankle monitor and jumping in a pool at San Diego's Sycuan Casino Resort, showing the world that real ones bounce back from adversity. But the feds wasn't done playing games. Less than 2 weeks later, U.S. Attorney Tara McGrath's office came back with that work, re-indicting Boosie on 2 counts, possession of a piece by a felon in interstate commerce and knowingly having a burner while using controlled substances.
They went appeal the Supreme Court ruling, and they won on the Supreme Court ruling. Now it was back again
A bigger panel of the Ninth Circuit came through and overturned the Duarte ruling, saying the federal ban on felons having guns was constitutional after all. Just like that, Boosie's brief taste of freedom got snatched away. The re-indictment was extra grimy because they added a new drug-related gun charge that carried up to 10 years, stacked on top of the 15-year max for the felon in possession charge. Boosie took to social media to express his frustration, calling out what he saw as prosecutorial overreach and straight-up racism. This whole transformation from a local case that might have gotten probation to a federal prosecution with potential decades behind bars shows exactly how the system works when they want to destroy you. The message was crystal clear. When the federal government got you in their crosshairs, they're gonna find every angle to put you under the jail. The use of Instagram live surveillance, helicopter tracking, and snatching him up right after the state dismissed charges. All of this shows a level of resources and determination that goes way beyond what regular citizens face for similar situations. This is about sending a message to every street dude who made it out the hood, but still keep it real about where they came from. To understand why Boosie Badass finally threw in the towel and copped that federal plea in 2025, we gotta dive deep into his history with the system. This wasn't some first-time offender getting jammed up. This was a street veteran who had already been through the fire and came out scarred but still breathing. His past battles with the law shaped every move he made in this latest beef with the feds. When keeping it real goes federal, Boosie's criminal past and the breaking point. Boosie's journey through the criminal justice system started when he was just a young bull running the streets of Baton Rouge. Growing up on West Garfield Street in some of the roughest projects Louisiana had to offer, Boosie got expelled from McKinley High School for drug-related activities while he was still a teenager. The streets had their hooks in him early, and like so many young brothers from the hood, he was moving work and catching minor cases before he could even legally drink. But 2009 was when things got real serious. Boosie caught a 4-year sentence on drug and gun possession charges, the type of bid that can break a man's spirit or make him stronger. While he was locked up, fighting that case and trying to keep his music career alive from behind bars, the streets had other plans for him. October 2010 brought the kind of charges that can end everything. Not just your career, but your life. While still locked up, Boosie got hit with a first-degree murder indictment for the alleged murder-for-hire killing of Terry Boyd in 2009. The prosecution claimed Boosie paid some young soldier named Michael Marlowe Mike Louding $2,800 to body Boyd over some disrespect. According to the prosecutors, Boyd had sent Boosie some letter talking about jacking and slapping him, and Boosie couldn't let that slide.
Offer you what?
Principal.
What's that?
Principal of first degree murder.
What does that mean?
Principal mean like you had something to do with it.
The prosecution's case was built on some shaky foundation. Their star witness was Michael Louding, who initially snitched on Boosie but then flipped his script, claiming the police coerced him with threats about the death penalty and putting his family in cages. They also pointed to Louding's tattoo of an AK-47 with Yo Boosie, who's next, that he got 2 weeks after the murder as some kind of smoking gun. Most foul of all, the prosecutors tried to use Boosie's own bars against him, citing lyrics from songs like 187 Inches and Body Bag that were allegedly recorded the night of the murder as evidence of his mindset. This is some dangerous precedent that affects every rapper who ever spit real street bars, turning artistic expression into criminal evidence. The system tried to break him with a deal before trial.
And what was the time that they were offering?
I think it was like 15, but they were running concurrent, so I had like 5 left.
You didn't take it though?
But Boosie kept it solid and trusted his legal team.
Okay. How hard was that decision? Because 5 years.
It wasn't hard at all. My lawyer already told me they was beat.
Okay.
My lawyer whooped, bro. It's whooped. I just gotta run it by you. This is whooped.
Right, because it actually went to a jury verdict.
Yeah.
And all 12 jurors said,
not guilty.
When that jury came back in May 2012, it was swift justice.
How did that feel?
It was one of the best days of my life.
The jury deliberated for about 35 minutes and found Boosie not guilty of first-degree murder. That's how weak the prosecution's case really was.
I mean, I got found guilty in 36 minutes. Not guilty in 36 minutes.
Oh, that's an open and shut case.
But even beating a murder rap couldn't save him from the other charges. While he was locked up, they hit him with additional charges for allegedly running a drug operation inside Louisiana's Angola prison, adding more time to his sentence and keeping him caged until March 2014. The psychological trauma from those years runs deep.
How many times have you been told on? By someone you knew?
Probably twice.
Twice. Did either one of those lead to convictions?
No.
Thank God. Okay, so
all my convictions are. Oh, yes, it did. Yes, it did.
but this is probably why it hits you a little bit deeper than everyone else.
Yeah.
You've gotten told on that led. How long was the conviction?
8 years.
The pain in his voice when he talks about snitches is real because it's personal.
My cousin was taken away. Life at 15 years old because someone corroborated. My uncle was taken away in the 80s. We didn't suffer. I know how them kids suffer. You know, and people don't understand that I was on death row, finna get a needle in my fucking arm because of rat.
Being on death row while fighting for your life changes a man forever. The financial cost was just as devastating as the emotional toll.
And I had to do parole on that conviction. 4 year, 5 year parole when I got out.
When you look at where your career is right now, if you didn't have to sit down for 5.5 years, do you think you'd be farther along?
Hell yeah. Be rich as
Right, because you lost your house. While you were
lost
locked up.
everything.
You lost everything.
I lost everything. I lost my house. I lost everything. I came back with nothing.
This history explains everything about how Boosie approached the 2023 federal gun case when you've already stared death in the face, spent years on death row, lost everything you worked for and had to rebuild from nothing. You develop a different relationship with risk and reward. By August 2025, after 3 years of fighting the feds, watching the case get dismissed and then refiled, seeing them add bogus charges and threaten him with decades in prison, Boosie reached his limit. He took to X and kept it 100 with his fans. Just accepted a plea from the federal government on my gun case. I thought this case was over and I was going to get on with my life, but God don't make mistakes and I'm tired of fighting. Talk to my family, and this is the right decision. The exhaustion in those words hit different when you understand his history. Family played a major role in his decision to surrender.
How do you feel about the sentencing that's coming up?
I just told you I trust in God. That's how I feel. I feel like God because my mama got on my ass the other day and told me, cause my mom, they heavy on God, bro.
His mother's intervention was powerful, calling him out for seeking political help instead of trusting in divine intervention.
Stop asking for pardon. You taking your faith out. You taking your faith out of God. You ask God to put faith in a man. Stop asking a man. Stop asking people. I could have appealed that, but that'll be 2-3 more years, and I'm just wasn't gonna go to trial with it.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna go to trial with it from the dump actually, but I feel like this the right move for me.
The plea deal was actually a victory considering what he was facing, a recommended 2-year sentence with 3 years of supervised release instead of the 15-year maximum. Even better, prosecutors agreed not to seek a monetary fine because of Boosie's limited financial prospects. The man who once refused a 15-year plea deal on a murder charge had learned the value of strategic surrender. Sometimes staying free to fight another day is better than risking everything on principle. The streets taught him how to survive, but experience taught him when to pick his battles. Beefs, controversies, and the road ahead. While Boosie Badazz was fighting federal charges, he was also catching smoke from multiple directions in the court of public opinion. His legal troubles might have been front-page news, but his ongoing beefs and controversial statements kept him in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. As he prepares to possibly do a bid upstate, it's crucial to understand all the drama that's been following this street legend. The most vicious and personal war Boosie's been fighting isn't with prosecutors, it's with Charleston White, an internet troll who's made destroying Boosie his full-time hustle. This ain't just regular hip-hop beef where rappers trade bars. This is some deep personal hatred that crosses every line of decency.
Marlo Mike was the nigga. He killed 9 black people, my nigga, before he even got 16 years old. But you know what? That kid watched somebody die when he was a baby, and he remembered the murder. And that kid also suffered with mental health. And Lil Boosie running around here talking like he tough in the motherfucker. And got a 16-year-old kid with life without parole.
Charleston White's attacks on Boosie are straight demonic. This clout-chasing clown has accused Boosie of threatening a Baton Rouge club promoter to stop White from performing in Boosie's city, claiming he called the FBI about alleged threats on his life. But it gets way more personal and cruel than that. White consistently mocks Boosie's diabetes and health problems, predicting he'll deteriorate fast in prison, and even betting $10,000 that Boosie will die behind bars. That's some straight evil behavior, trying to profit off another another man's health struggles. When Boosie announced his plea deal, White's response was beyond disrespectful.
Matter of fact, right now, Father God, in the name of Jesus, I pray Boosie get at least 36 months, God. Father God, he done gotten away too many times. You done gave him too many chances, Lord. Every knee go bow and every tongue go confess. Boosie knee ain't bowed yet, God, because he still upholds the world and the streets and the same thing that you are against, sexual lust and perversion, God.
This snake even wrote a letter to the federal judge trying to get Boosie the maximum sentence, bringing up his old murder trial and claiming Boosie disrespected law enforcement. That's some next level hate that goes beyond anything resembling normal beef. What's crazy is how Boosie has handled this situation. Any other street dude would have already handled Charleston White permanently, but Boosie's been showing remarkable restraint, probably because he knows his legal situation.
But I guess that never
I don't
happened.
need no apology.
I know, you don't need an apology, but I felt that if I had the chance to do that, I would at least try. Unfortunately, it didn't work.
But Charleston White isn't Boosie's only problem when it comes to public controversies. His stance on LGBTQ+ issues has created some major public relations disasters that have damaged his reputation beyond the hood. Back in February 2020, Boosie went off on Zaya Wade, NBA star Dwyane Wade's transgender daughter, during an Instagram live session, telling Wade not to let his child transition. He was talking reckless about a child, which crossed major lines and had people calling him transphobic. In October 2021, he went even harder at Lil Nas X, telling the openly gay rapper to kill himself and dissing him for being open about his sexuality. That type of hate speech got him banned from multiple platforms and had the LGBTQ+ community ready for war. Most recently, in January 2024, Boosie caught heat for walking out of The Color Purple movie because it showed lesbian relationships, claiming he had to protect his daughters from seeing it. People called out the hypocrisy since his own music sexualizes women-loving women when it benefits his male fantasy. These controversies have had real consequences in the streets and in business. In March 2025, Planet Fitness banned Boosie from their gyms because of his transphobic comments about Zaya Wade, showing that his words have cost him money and access. The most painful part is how this affects his own family. His daughter Poison Ivy came out as lesbian in 2023, and Boosie publicly said on Vlad TV that her sexuality wasn't accepted in their Southern Baptist family. Imagine being rejected by your own pops for being who you are. That's some deep trauma right there. But despite all the controversies, or maybe because of them, Boosie has maintained a loyal fan base that respects his authenticity. In a world where rappers switch up for mainstream acceptance, Boosie has stayed true to his beliefs, even when they cost him money and opportunities. As November 21st, 2025 approaches, sentencing day, the question on everyone's mind is what's next for the Baton Rouge legend. The federal plea deal recommends a 2-year bid with 3 years of supervised release, but several factors could influence what actually happens. Boosie's lawyer Megan Blanco is pushing for leniency, highlighting his charitable work and community contributions, hoping the judge might give him probation instead of prison time. The judge will consider his community involvement, including the Caleb Wilson Memorial Scholarship and his responsibilities as a father to 9 kids. But the federal system don't play games, and his past criminal history plus ongoing controversies could work against him. The prosecutors in his case have been ruthless from day one, and they're probably pushing for him to do the full 2 years.
I don't know. It's up to the judge to give me credit for my anger monitor.
Exactly.
It's up to the judge to give me credit for my anger monitor.
If Boosie does have to do that bid, his career blueprint is already written. When he came home in 2014 after doing 5 years, he signed with Atlantic Records and dropped Touchdown 2 Cause Hell, 2015, which debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200. That album proved that prison couldn't kill his fan base's loyalty. His recent album, Words of a Real One, August 2025, shows he's still creatively sharp even while fighting federal charges. The street's been eating off that project, and it positions him perfectly for whatever comes next. The hip-hop community has been showing love throughout this whole ordeal. Fans on social media have been flooding his posts with support. Stay strong, Boosie, and we got you, showing that real recognize real. That type of loyalty is priceless in this industry where people switch up quick. But the game is changing, and Boosie's old school views might not fit with the younger, more progressive generation of hip-hop fans. His anti-LGBTQ+ stance puts him at odds with where the culture is heading, potentially limiting his mainstream crossover appeal. The Charleston White beef isn't going anywhere either. That clown has already promised to keep making content about Boosie's family while he's locked up, which means the drama will continue even if Boosie's behind bars.
And they got people from the feds calling me, blowing me up right now, bro, everywhere, bro. Hey, you coming up here? We just heard the news. Man, shit, I ain't even in jail, dog.
Need a cellmate? Where do I sign up?
I got a bag waiting on you, you straight.
Even his enemies respect his street credibility. Federal inmates already trying to recruit him before he even gets sentenced. That's the type of reputation that follows real ones wherever they go. Media outlets like Billboard and Rolling Out are already talking about how resolving this case, even with prison time, gives Boosie closure to focus on his music career after his release. The uncertainty of fighting federal charges was probably more damaging to his career than actually doing the time will be. Whatever happens on November 21st, Boosie has already cemented his legacy as one of the realest to ever do it. From the projects of Baton Rouge to federal court in San Diego, he's never switched up or compromised his authenticity for anyone or anything. The streets made him, the system tried to break him, but he's still standing. The next chapter gets written on November 21st, 2025, when Judge Kathy Bencivengo decides his fate. But regardless of whether he gets the recommended 2 years, catches a break with probation, or gets hit with something harder, Boosie Badass has already proven that real ones survive whatever the system throws at them. His story is bigger than just one federal gun case. It's about how a young brother from the projects turned pain into profit, street knowledge into chart success, and never forgot where he came from even when it cost him everything. Whether he's home or behind bars, the influence of that Baton Rouge realness will continue to inspire the next generation of artists who refuse to compromise their truth for mainstream acceptance. The game needs more soldiers like Boosie, rappers who keep it 100 regardless of the consequences. As he faces whatever comes next, one thing is certain: the streets will always respect authenticity over everything else, and Boosie Badass embodies that principle like few others in the history of hip-hop. Like this video? Don't forget to explore more similar content through the suggested cards on your screen.